Okay, cool. Welcome everybody. First live, official live stream. So that should be fun. Um, so today, what I want to do, in fact, let me just check if it's actually streaming. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, what I want to do today is I want to work on. I want to work on my design system that is called Khwezi. So I'm probably gonna make this as a however many pod series. I really have no idea how long this is gonna take. Uh, so yeah, without wasting time, well, let me just try and see if I can explain what this is about. So today's session is just gonna be it's gonna be we're gonna be doing these um, input fields. Then yeah, what I want us to do is firstly, as a point, is to make the actual components. Then, secondly, is to ensure that the components are composable. Maybe input fields might not be, but we'll see how best we can do that. Then we're also going to make these input fields or these components. We're going to make them token based. So in my last video, I spoke about how I actually use tokens in my workflow. So yeah, that's how I just want to do this, because what I'm envisioning is, maybe let's say I spin up a different project. I don't want to have to pull in these same components. Maybe I want to have a different theme or whatever. I can use this design system as a base. Then I can use tokens to theme it, right? So that's how I was thinking about it. So we'll see how that goes. We're gonna give it our best shot today, and then see how far we get. Maybe we get to a good, I guess, um, yeah, like a good place. Yeah, so we can give it a good shot and try and see how far we can go. Cool beans. So, all right, that's the thumbnail. Ah, wonderful. So I'm obviously not starting from scratch. I've got these from, I guess it was probably like a starter design system that I picked up somewhere. Tried using it and found that actually, yeah, it's not actually doing what I would like it to do. So I find that I'm actually having to overcompensate. So I do something, then I need to put in a component, but find out that component doesn't work as well as I'd like it to be or to work. So then I have to just, you know, in tandem work on the component itself, and then also work on the design that I'm working on, which is quite annoying sometimes. So yeah, this is a good starting point. I guess these are variants. Um, but yeah, let's maybe follow this structure for now and see, because what I want is I don't think I want sizes. So that's one thing I probably don't think I want, because I don't think I have a use case for a small input field. In my mind, it should probably be, the difference shouldn't be that much. So it should probably be flexible enough. Let's see. If I have this is 44, it has a height of 44. So what they consider as medium, yeah, it's 44. And then a large input field is 56, which I don't see when I'll actually need that. And then a small one is 36. So I don't think the variation is just probably like maybe 10 or something, 12-ish, 12-ish pixels both ways. So yeah, we'll probably just keep the one size. Um, but I do want an empty state and a filled state, right? And then we'll want one with an icon left, icon right, and then icon both. That will be very useful. So that top stack we can probably keep, as well as this one. Then we also want a active state, and then I think maybe a validation state. That's what we'll probably need. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to copy all of this. Let's do this way. I'm going to copy it to the side. In recent days, I've been working on a documentation template, which I'm hoping once done, I can actually bring it in here to make things a bit more, standard and uniform. So I don't think I need a hover state because there's literally almost no difference. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to okay, I might keep this one, and then these ones I'll delete because I feel like it's just duplication of effort. Cool. So no icon. That's the first one we're going to do. And the other thing that we want to do is also bring in tokens, right? So let's run the tokens plugin and see how far we might get with that. Just make sure that this mic is sitting in a not awkward position. So yeah, hopefully I'm a bit more audible this way. Yeah, so today is a live, so I didn't want to have to edit these things out, and I realized that my process is a very involved process, and sometimes like when I'm making the videos, I tend to edit a lot of things out. Maybe let's just start this way, right? So let's make a no icon. I'm gonna call this placeholder. Maybe I should switch on my commands so you guys can be able to see that stuff. Cool. That's there. I don't know what's the best place to keep it. I'm just gonna keep it down here. Using Keycaster to do this. Yeah, I think that's fine. They're also using text. They're also using base. Cool. So I'm gonna make this. What color is this gonna be? Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna apply an auto layout quickly. Typically, your form fields or your text inputs will be they'll be fixed. So what I want to do is just make sure that I've got a good amount of spacing. So I'm going to use a spacing token for that. Let's see, 5. Let's try 5, right? And say all. Or selected the wrong thing. Yeah, it's way too big. Let's also make sure that we can use. A little worried about the performance of my computer today, but she looks okay. Let's give it that kind of a border, and then we actually have a border width token. So I just want to see something. I want to see what it will look like when it's a thick border, and by default it applies that border to the inside, which is fine, but we'll make it a slim one, which is 1 pixel, and then we'll add some border radius. So I have base as 8, and these, so where did I get these values? These values they're all coming from Tailwind CSS, which I thought was a good start, but for now I'll just keep it as none. And then I want to give this thing like better padding inside. So yeah, these names they're not actually indicative of what's actually happening. And I should probably do better with that. Let's do that. Okay, take your time. Yeah, maybe 12 is better. And also, if we do have a gap. Okay. I don't know why, but for some reason, my tokens are not showing up, which is strange. Let's maybe try a single side. Nope, nothing. So let's go for no. Okay, maybe let's do this. I'll just give it a value for now because yeah, that's what the 12 would have been. So even if is it not calculating? I don't know. Okay, it's fine. So I think what I'll do is I'll do 12 and I'll do 16 on top. Cool. Okay, and now I'm going to give this a fixed width, and I'm also going to make sure that the content on the left actually the content on the left needs to start at 8 so that it looks a lot more like an input field. Then excuse me, gonna actually I'm gonna just break this down to 8 on both sides because I think that makes more sense. Yeah, so now we can take that and Command Shift K. There we go. Cool beans. So I'm already starting to see an issue. And I think what I want to do is maybe let me do it this way. Let me do it the way that I would have normally done it. I think how I would have approached this is I would maybe build a base component, then make these variants out of a base component as a base. So we can still do that. In this design system, I have what is called layout blocks. What are layout blocks? So layout blocks are essentially just slot components that are arranged in a layout of some sort. So whether horizontal or vertical. In this case, I would like to use that one. And that's what I mean, in a sense, by saying something is composable, inspired by Mr. Biscuit. Very helpful. It's a very helpful approach. So I'm going to drag this into here because that text isn't a component, so I'm not going to swap anything. Then what I'll do is I will replace this one with the 3, right? Cool. And then what I want to do is I want to fill the container with them, and maybe these 2 are going to be fixed. So just those 2, those will be fixed, and this one will take the biggest amount of space. So that should be enough setup. I'll call this base, right? Awesome sauce. And then in here, Let's go back into the layers panel. So we just make sure that the middle one, when we select, we can actually swap it out. I've created a paragraph component. There it is, paragraph lead. Named it like a true designer. I just wanted to fill, or I wanted to hug its content. So I want this to fill its container. And I think that's text based, but let's make sure it is. Yeah, it's small, so let's make it base, right? Normal. Cool. Then let's give it a nice grayish color. Cool. And then what I think I want is I want to select all of them and give them some gap. So spacing value of 8 is a lot, but yeah, let's use 4. Right, yeah, so now there's a gap there. And then these two are gonna be so this one, which is the first one out of the 3, is going to be an icon wrapper, which I've already got there, as well as this one is also going to be an icon wrapper. Cool. I think, what size is that? 24, right? No, 16. So icon wrapper, let's make it medium. Cool. We'll do the same here. Just select icon wrapper. So it's a wrapper because when I first did these, when I would change the size of the icon, it wouldn't respond accordingly. So I saw another trick from another YouTuber that helped me with that. I think that was probably even Mr. Beast. Did I say Mr. Beast in the beginning? Well, he might be surprised. So yeah, icon wrapper. So this we can always override, right? So just to be kind to yourself, leave yourself comments. It's the same thing that developers do. They comment their code. Also, you can comment your design, right? So you can swap out these icons for anything. I mean, that should go without saying, but I try when I learn a good habit, I try and practice it so that it remains for a very long time. Cool. Then what we'll do is we'll also make sure that this as well as this are a decent color that matches with what is on our UI. I think that makes sense. Cool. So cool. So then now I have a base component, and I should probably make like a nice little container explaining what that thing is, because from this base component I'm going to bring out a variant. I'm going to alt drag, and let's see if I'll be able to do this. I should be able to either hide this, call it icon left. I should probably be able to toggle this on or off. So by default, let's make it false. Welp. That's because I applied it to the entire thing. Okay, let's make sure we close all the, yeah, and this one. Okay, so I can select these. Just make sure that we don't have, yeah, I don't want that property anymore. So I can remove it. Let's remove it. Let's collapse this for now. I think that's the nice thing about this tokens plugin, is that you can collapse it and bring it up when you need it. So it's this one, that icon wrapper for the first icon wrapper. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. So then I won't be able to toggle these on or off in that case, because these are all let's just see. Yeah, it should be. That's weird. How I'm even thinking of solving for this is to reset all these changes. Like if I reset all of these changes here. Oh, maybe because I didn't publish. Reset all changes. Cool. That's weird though. Why did my spacing change? That is strange. Strange. Okay, probably have to do this again, which is annoying, but okay. Cool. Gonna make the gap there 0. Gonna give this a fixed width of 250 or 256. Let's try that. It's a bit long. Yeah. 128. Actually, I have sizing components. I mean sizing tokens. Seems the most I have is 20. Or 28. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. But it's helpful to know that I have that. Okay, what else? Let's move on with our lives. We're going to give this 200. And what I'm thinking to do, because that's going to annoy me, I'm going to swap this. Don't I have one? I should. Oh no, I know why. We're going to change it to vertical because I didn't see a need to make more than one single one. Yep. We can change the direction. We can give it a spacing of, what did we say? 4, right? Yeah. Then what I'll do is I will tell this one to fill the container. There we go. And hopefully this way now I should be able to, let's just check, because these are 3 distinct layers. Yeah, so I should be able to then, nope, wrong click. I should be able to either show or hide this. So I can call this now icon left, even though I haven't actually swapped out the icon yet, right? And if it hides, then this takes its place. Yes, that's cool. Then I can call this one, gonna say icon right, and I can keep that false as well. Yep. And that should, for me, that's satisfying because I have those 2 values there, right? And then I have a single one which I want to replace with a it's weird that I'm consuming components from the design system that I'm making. But I think it's the best way just to maintain standards. We'll give this text placeholder. Wonderful. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit enter. Nope, don't do that. Undo that. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna just make this base normal. We're gonna bring that color down to 500, and we've got something going there. Then we can deal with these ones. For now, we're gonna wrap, or not wrap, but make that medium as we had done before, and we can swap that out. We can turn that off again. Interesting. So now this whole entire form acts as a auto layout, which is good, I think. So icon right. And I was learning a few things about preferred values, right? So in this instance, I mean, the preferred value should probably be something like, this is always going to be like a chevron or an X. So there might not actually be a need for you to actually swap that out yourself. But for all intents and purposes, because we're all learning, let's maybe try and keep things a bit simple, and we'll solve problems as we encounter them. Cool. So I'm happy with these, as well as that. That's as a base, right? Let's make sure that in the base we've applied our tokens to the best of our knowledge. So we know we have, yeah, that's not true. Let's make sure we just uncheck that, because that will put us in a lot of trouble. But we know we have 8, I think, 0.5. Where is 8? Yeah, we'll say right, and we'll also say left. I'm actually curious at this point, because it's not applying my, yeah, that should work. So I'm not understanding. Okay, so that is weird. Let me close the plugin and open it again. It's a bit weird that it's not applying the things. Yeah, in real life, it actually does happen that you get stuck and you try and figure some stuff out. Because after all, we are human, right? And I think that I'm trying to also show that aspect of me. Sometimes people just think, he's got it. And I know it's like, hey. Okay, yeah, no. Unsure as to why that's not working. An auto layout is applied. Everything is aligned to the way it should be. So let's maybe say left, right, and then for the top, maybe let me just make it, I can apply this to top and bottom. Cool. Another thing that's quite nice, right, is that with these tokens you can actually do some documentation. So even though it's not really representative on the screen, but you can actually do some documentation, which is quite nice. Like if you do this debug and annotate thing, you can be able to, yeah, you get all the values that of the stuff that you're using there. So in an ideal world, you would have all of these tokens in code so that when your developer sees this, they're not surprised at what it is that you're referring to. But yeah, sometimes we don't live in ideal worlds. Like for this was just like a brain fart, I guess, on my side, right? That I wanted to do something like this because I've never seen anybody, actually do um, a design system live. Every time anybody does something like this, they usually just do buttons, which is fun, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, so you'll notice that I have all of my like border radius, border color, the border width. I have all of that stuff documented here. So then that means that when I use this component, I can simply override it should I have a set that has different values for the same um, value key value pairs. So this would be a key, and this would be the value. Yeah. So that's it's interesting to know. But anyway, let's continue with that. Um, Looking at the time, I think we've had half an hour. So yeah, I think probably end this at an hour and see how far we can go. But okay, I think I'll just mark this as resolved. So cool. Now in by doing what we've done, we can now create new components, right? And we'll call this I don't know what they call text input. And we'll give it a type of no icon. We can turn on icon left. And I feel like the spacing is a bit too tight. So I'll show you why I opted to use base components, because project at work showed me that I can actually work a bit smarter than I think. So I can paste this and then say icon left. Awesome source. Ooh. Wow, that's weird. A lot of strange things are happening today in Figma. A lot of strange things. Tokens are not being applied correctly. It's just the wildest thing. Let's copy our base component so that we can always just maintain changes should we need to. Text input type is equal to icon right, and in here we can always just enter and hit icon right. So I think the spacing is a bit tight. Is that 0? Let's make it 8 and see. Yeah. And then also the size here is unacceptable. So maybe what we can do is just make small icons. Yeah, that makes sense. So you'll notice that I'm making the changes in the base component, but um, I'm seeing the actual changes being reflected in the consuming, not even base, but upstream components. Right. So by doing that, by doing just one, we've done how many? Four, essentially. There's a cool plugin I saw just recently. Um, don't know if I used it here, but it's called regression, I think. And I'm always just regressor, not regression. So I can run a configurator or like a regressor. So all it should do is basically just create like all of the instances of my component that I have. So I'm gonna just make sure. Okay. Sorry, was seeing something. And what's that? Oh, it can actually create a new page. Interesting. But let's just, yeah. But there's like some usability issues there. I just, like, all I wanted to do right now is to run the regression, not all of this configuration stuff that it wants me to do. Cool. Yes. So you see, we have all our variants here, essentially. Right? And if I was smart, which I believe I am, what I would do is I would just go in and create variants from this. So I would create a component set. Right? Cool. Pull that out from there. I should have been smart and did this way. Now, there's a lot of input fields here. There's gonna probably be a part 2 or 3 of input fields, but I think we're nearly done. Since we don't have the bigs and the mediums of the world, I'm actually just gonna delete this now. Yeah, I don't know how that's being selected, but okay. So okay, so I'm gonna just call this, what is that property? Is it a type or is it a state? It's a type. Let's just call it a type, because that's what we were saying. So that's going to be icon both. Icon left, icon right, and then default. Default is fine. Instead of saying no icon, I think that's good. So because we were gonna have them as variants anyway, but now what we need to do is we need to add a variant to this one where we give it a full color, and then an active but empty state, and then an active and filled state, and then maybe a validation one. Oh yeah, I was about to show you why I decided to use if I decide to do a fully rounded corner, all of my children update. So that makes a bit more sense. But I'm going to leave it at 0 for now. And then that will just help me to continue with my life for now. So I'm also just going to delete this for now because we're not at the point of documentation. So, we'll delete that. Cool. Awesome. Now this is we'll give it a type, and this one will be empty or default, and this one will be filled. Yeah. And all the changes here, I guess, it's not even a guess, I should probably stop saying that, but all the changes here is the color of the font. So we're going to make that 800. That's great. So I saw something on the internet about focus rings. I think that's what this is. I'm unsure how to actually pull this off. So let's maybe inspect this bad boy. So there's a value with the cursor, there's a rectangle, an edit indicator. Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do. What I will do, so I'll say empty focus. So I don't know if this is possible, but you can have two strokes, one inside and the other one outside. And let's give this other one maybe a bigger value. Can't really see the difference between the two. And let's make this other one red. So no, these are both being applied at the same place. That's annoying. Okay, I think I know what I'll do. So on this empty focus one, I'll wrap that in an auto layout, right? No, it's not gonna allow me to. Unless maybe it did. No, it didn't. Huh, that's gonna be tricky. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna crack my brain on this, but what I will do is put that back at 1 and just change that to a different color. What color can we use? Did I close that tokens plugin? Oh, because I used a new one. So that's why. Yeah. Need to find out how to do those focus rings. Actually, that's gonna bug me. So I'm gonna pull this out. And if I see, so if we just make everything even like 1, and yeah, that should work. So I'm curious as to why that doesn't work in there. Huh. Interesting. It would allow me to add the first one, but the second one not. Interesting. Okay. So then what I'll do is, because I think they believe they're smarter than me, or maybe I just don't know the right way to do this thing, guys, which is also fine. I don't expect myself to. I'm gonna copy the name of this baby here. What's this one? It's called empty focus. So type is equal to empty focus. So I'll just name this one, right? And I'm gonna create okay. That might be a fix. Okay, I think that might have fixed it. But what we want to do, because let's see. That has worked. Good. Good. Now the problem is, the selected variant is missing in the component. Ooh, reset to default. Haha. All right, we have discovered something new. How am I going to fix this? I'm going to go in here and ensure that the direction is that way. And let's try. Okay, let's go back to empty focus. And then if we hit enter, yeah, something is weird. I know this is probably like an illegal operation, so this is gonna be fun. And I don't even know if this is the best way to do these two, because I think I've used, not I think, but I'm definitely sure I've seen the material input fields that have a state layer on it. So that shows you between filled and empty. And I think that was a very smart way. But I'm also kind of looking at I'm looking at the designer experience. So that's an important thing to me because I would like to know uh, that people are able to use my components without any additional issues. Um, okay, so for now, what I'll do is I'll just change the color of the border to orange, right? No, man, that's the wrong one. So I need to undo that. Yeah, cool. This is the one that doesn't have a state. Yeah, that's type 4. So I'm going to call this empty focus like the others. Then I'm also going to make a duplication of this one. And then this one is going to have this border. Yeah, this is strange here. Tokens aren't applying at all, so but it's fine. I think it's just an issue of Figma having its outage in the morning, and it is what it is now. So I'm just going to manually change these because at this point, if I can't see it visually, then I don't know which is which. Cool, so that's going to be orange. Now, what I can do, and I maybe ran that configurator or the regressor thing a bit early, but maybe now, because we'll have default filled, and we'll have these active filled, we just need validation at this point. So, but with validation, we just really need one, and we'll create that one. But now this is the issue because I can't add. I can't seem to add an additional auto layout, which is bugging me because I think I should be able to do so. So if I'm not able to do that right now, I'll just keep it this way. I'm gonna just close this one, and then I'm gonna create the combinations again. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna delete that because I was premature with running it. There you go. Now the only thing that's annoying for me is that it doesn't put them in a logical way. It doesn't put the items logically, and that's just for me. So I'm gonna have to try and run, or not even run, but let's do 12. Yeah. I just want it to be a nice grid. Cool. I don't like these rounded corners. They're way too rounded. They need to cut it. Cool. Okay. I think it's even fine, hey? Like these are all the possible combinations of what this component produces. So because these are all instances, we need to select all of them and then create a component set. Delete that, we don't need that. I don't need that. I also don't need that. Just want to leave this here. So base is going to be text inputs, and then now we can start applying properties. So one property is going to be type. We're going to add another property. I'm going to call it state. So we can have type of icon, no icon, icon left, icon right, both icon. Then we can have state of filled and focus, right? Cool. So this is, what's this type? This is the type of, so we can select all of these. Dude. Icon, both. Let's maybe first so that's icon left, icon right, and then this one can be default, and then this is a type of focus filled. Empty focus, and then this can be filled. And this will be empty. Cool. So, phew, hectic. Now I can take the default one. Let's maybe build a little form just for fun. Right. Okay. Cover that in an auto layout and call it form. Assuming we're building something like a mobile form or whatever. And let's just, so I can come in here and say I would like icon both, focus filled. That makes sense. Now for focus filled, something is missing there, right? Because you see the color of the icons doesn't change, and it should. So we come into the base component, we go in there and we turn those babies on. And in this instance here, we want the color to become, I think, 700. Yes, 700. That's as well as, that's just filled. So as well as here, we want this to become 700. Now the key thing here is to make sure that you at least put an icon that is most likely going to be used, so like a chevron, so that designers aren't confused as to what should actually go there. I don't want them to have the impression that they can put whatever they'd like there. But in this other one, we can leave it as it is. Although I would like something a bit more representative of what's actually going to live in that space. So something like a I guess search box or search bar, search icon. Cool. Tell you now, man, those strokes are wild. Just make that one, dude. Yeah. No, I see why it's doing that. So yeah, enter. We do not want a stroke there. Whatever number it is, turn it to 0 so that it doesn't look so puffy. As well as here, double click. I'm gonna exit. Let's just go inside once. Well, the number has to be 0 anyway. Cool. So that's a good start. Now I just managed 4 variants, and I like to do drastic things. I think these are cool. Now, stress test time. Oh yuck, no, dude. Definitely not 24. Let's just make it 0 so that we can test these. We can have one that's icon left. We're gonna have icon right. Yeah. And now what I'm gonna do is write something very long. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it. Yeah, breaks. As I expected it, right? Because I don't think we set. That's the issue there. So what do we want to do? Do we want the what's this thing called? Let's maybe tell it to hug, and let's see what it does. So all of them. But that doesn't fix the problem, so we're gonna have to go into the actual text layers, and we have to set them to fill the container. Cool. But now that's not like default behavior for a form. So if I'm to add some other content, the form just grows going down. Whereas I sort of expected to hug in the sense that it should, no man, but forms should always be a fixed width, and you should always use your form fields to give the user a hint of how long the content that you expect them to enter should be, if that makes sense. So what I expect to happen is that this is actually an exception. And this should not be allowed to happen. So if you want, let's go in there and tell it to fill that piece. Wonderful. Another thing that we're noticing is that when the form stretches, this doesn't grow. So we need to go in there and ensure that the spacing is set to auto. So that means yes, wonderful. It means that it'll take it'll always use space between, but the space should be fixed. That is to say, actually, consummables. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that should always be filled, and then whatever's inside will also fill it. So that should, yes, fix the problem, because now you see that, yeah, you see, so that piece of text will always fill the container. So let's try with this one. That's because, right, okay, there's another issue, the responsiveness. So let's not give these a fixed width. Let's always let them fill the container. Whew, guys, components. Placeholder of placeholders that held a space, held a place. What I want to do, I wonder if this is actually even possible, that this should probably truncate. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting happier and happier as I see, but now I just need to create these validation ones. But what I think I will want to do, because as an interim fix, I did something similar. So I'll create a label and wrap the component around the label. Yeah, it's probably time for bedtime now. Awesome sauce. I'm gonna keep this. Um, I just need to find a way to now label these, which is probably gonna be a different day's problem. So for now, I'm gonna call it quits. Um, there'll definitely be a part two because there's still this text area stuff that needs to be done. I don't think I need suffixes and prefixes. I, I'm just not finding a use case for them anytime soon, so we'll see. Uh, Drop downs, we'll probably need to do those because that's very important. Um, yeah, drop downs are next, maybe. And then a stepper. Nah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, maybe we can add the password validation here. So we'll just make these components, then add them, bundle them, or create a layer. We'll see. Then phone number, not necessarily. What I also don't see, date input is quite important. We'll probably get to work on those. So maybe we'll do another live tomorrow just to have these sorted out by the end of the week. But also another one is file input. That's something that I often use but don't actually ever have. So yeah, that's gonna be good. Anyway,